economic inequality. Again, you know, according to the universities, the way neoliberal economics is taught, it really doesn't matter. As long as the economy is growing, it doesn't matter how much the rich are making and how much the poor are making, you know, it's going to trickle down to everybody, right? So when I'm in Venezuela, I just show these two characters. According to Forbes magazine, you can check their wealth every year. Gustavo Cisneros has the mass media. If you wonder why all the television and newspapers are against Hugo Chavez, it's because of this gentleman. And the second one owns Polar Beverages, which has, of course, Coca-Cola and everything else. Beer is a very big item there in Venezuela. And they both have $5 billion in assets. Now, I point out that if you look at the list for the last 8 years, you'll see that the first guy is twice as rich and the second guy is 3 times as rich as they were 8 years ago. So then I ask my Venezuelan audiences, are all of you 2 or 3 times richer than you were 8 years ago? I mean, is your wealth accumulating with that speed? In Venezuela, it's not. I don't know, in Berkeley, you guys are in the rich area. But, you know, so the point is that the rich people are getting really rich and the poor people are staying about the same.
Thank you.
But, of course, my arms are unable to show this because they're up at the moon, you know, very, very high. Then I start asking the question, I say, how much is a billion, you know? Can you conceive of these numbers? A billion seconds, of course, is 13 days, right? 13 days ago, a billion seconds. I'm sorry, a million seconds, And so a billion is just a little bit more, right? Yeah, 31 years. 13 days is a million, 31 years is a billion seconds. A billion minutes ago, Jesus Christ was alive. It's a what? I mean, these are big numbers we're talking about that we hear in the newspaper all the time, but it's hard to fathom such large numbers. So one way to put it, I put it in Venezuela, if you have $1 million, I say, there, you can buy a pretty good house. Excuse me, but from what I hear of the real estate market, you can't buy a pretty good house for $1 million here. You can buy a pretty small house, maybe. But for $1 billion, you can buy 1,000 houses or apartments in downtown San Francisco for that. And of course, you wouldn't have spent all your money because you'd still be renting them out and selling them off. And so in a few years, you've doubled your money, and it just keeps growing exponentially. So according to Prout, we've got a problem here. This is a play, the cinema, the economy. People on the left are coming out extremely happy. They watched a wonderful comedy. And the people on the right are coming out very depressed because it was a very sad play. The same one, the economy, but it doesn't benefit everybody. Of course, the flag that shows who actually controls the government, national corporations. They like that in Venezuela.